Hello, I'm Michaela, and welcome back to Lactation Station. Before we get into it, I just want to mention a couple of things. Don't forget to go by the website. I've got some exciting new stuff up there, and a lot of new information. I restarted my blog, kind of revamped the website, so go by there and check it out. Don't forget to join my Facebook group, Lactation Station 2020. It's super easy to find on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. It's also Lactation Station. And I want to tell you guys about a new website that I've recently become a part of. It's called A&R Heaven, and they actually host an episode of mine, a different one every Sunday. They change it every Sunday. It's a great website to meet new people if you're looking for a partner or you just want to be, on a website with like-minded people. It's free and it's really great. So go and check it out. All right. So let's get started. I read an article recently. I actually shared the article in my Facebook group, and it was a commissioner from Abia, ABIA, which is a state in southeastern portion of Nigeria. In this article, the commissioner was speaking at a UNICEF meeting, and they said, and I quote, "It is wrong for men to be sharing their wives' breast milk with the babies." She insisted that breast milk is naturally meant for babies and not for men. Her words were, breast milk is meant for babies and their fathers. Mothers should stop feeding their husbands with their breast milk. It's meant for their babies. Now, I don't know, I just know that she's a commissioner, and so I don't know, what she knows. I assume, and that's always a mistake when you assume stuff, but I assume that because she was speaking at a UNICEF meeting, she had, some kind of education. And as most people know, and if you don't know, I say it all the time. Lactation at its core is supply and demand. So if she's feeding her baby and then, feeding her husband, all that's going to do is increase her supply. She's not, he's not taking anything away from the baby. So I don't understand the objection other than people just don't like it. That, in my experience so far, when I hear people say it's gross or it's disgusting or why would you do that, it's just they object because they don't like it. It's not because of any other reason other than that. So, I'm not even going to start with the whole argument about if breast milk is for babies, then why do we continue to drink cow's milk? Because, that milk is meant for babies too, but it's still perfectly okay to drink that milk. That always confuses me and tends to make me a little angry because to me, that's not a viable argument. Don't drink breast milk because it's meant for babies. Drink cow milk instead. Well, hey, I got news for you. That milk is meant for babies too. So, I do know from several articles that I read that professionals in Nigeria feel this is a problem. They feel that this is a legitimate problem. And if men are forcing women to give them breast milk, then yes, it is a problem. But if it's two consenting adults, especially a married couple, then there should really be no objection, none whatsoever. Except, it's like I said, by people that feel it's wrong. So after reading this article, I was kind of curious about how other countries feel about breast milk because I know how the United States feels about it, and people make their opinion known all the time that it's gross and disgusting, and why would you want to do that? These are clearly people that have honestly never tried it because I think they would have a difference of opinion. But so anyway, I started looking into some other stuff. And the first article I found was written, it was Chinese from China. And so the Chinese media stated that many wealthy adults are drinking breast milk to combat stress. Some companies were promoting and expanding their breast milk supply and business to include adults. Some clients hire in house wet nurses to make sure they have easy access to breast milk. And some of the wet nurses earn 16,000 yen, or roughly about $2,600 a month. An anonymous client said not only was drinking breast milk popular in their social circle, but spending 10,000 to 20,000 yen was not uncommon. He said he himself paid 15,000 yen to have a nope, to have a live in wet nurse. Not alive, a live in, I hope she was alive. Anyway, to have a live in wet nurse for a month. At the end of the article, it stated medical experts say the nutritional value of human breast milk for adults is ridiculously overstated. A rep from Dalian, Dalian Municipal Central Hospital claims it can actually do more harm than good as it contains more lactose than an adult can digest. People get more nutrients that they need from cow's milk. Why do we keep referring back to cow's milk? That drives me just bananas. Just bananas. Okay, so that was the South China Morning Post. And the date on that article was 2013. Now, while the article is old, I highly doubt the practice has stopped. So let's unpack a little bit of what this guy said in his statement. Breast milk does have more lactose. It also has special non nutritional factors like lactoferrin, which is an anti inflammatory. It is digestive resistant. It passes easily through the body into the urine and helps prevent UTIs. Breast milk also has lysozyme, Lysozyme, and that is also an anti inflammatory and makes a considerable impact on what bacteria makes it into the gut. These are either rare or absent in cow's milk. These non nutritional factors make breast milk easily digestible. Remember, he said that the lactose for adults, it was too much lactose for them that they couldn't digest it. But these two things make breast milk easily digestible. It aids in the absorption and bioavailability of nutrients as well as other potential benefits. So, and a little later on, I'll talk about how easy breast milk is to digest as well. Okay, so let's move on. In Japan, and I heard this before, I think it was in 2019, the end of 2019, maybe it was the beginning of 2020. In one of my kit groups, we were talking about Japan because they have what is called milk bars there. In the what I was reading online, it said milk bars, and what the internet described as a bit dodgy of an area. So, it's probably like, I don't, red light district. Do they even say that anymore? Red light district? Anyway, it was probably in an area that wasn't so great. But there's a place called Bonyu Bar, Bonyu Bar, where you can, for about 15 bucks, and this article is from 2018, so it may be higher now, um, more than 15 bucks, but we'll say for about 15 bucks, you can order a glass of breast milk, or you can order it straight from the tap. And I think that's 5,000 yen, and I don't know what that translates into. I don't know. So for about 5,000 yen, you can get it straight from the tap from one of the three women there. They call them house mothers. And if you opt for straight from the tap, as you suckle from the mother of choice, she will caress your hair and talk lovingly to you and do all the things that, a partner would do for you. One customer was quoted as saying, "It was exciting, and at the same time, I felt sated psychologically." And that was taken from the Tokyo Reporter. Now, As I looked further into this, I came across a lot of information about Mongolia. And Mongolia actually has a completely different view of breastfeeding. As a matter of fact, in their culture, they don't understand in Western countries why breastfeeding or sharing breast milk is so ostracized because it's just a way of life there. If a woman's breasts are engorged and her baby isn't around, maybe the baby's napping or somebody has the baby outside and the baby's just not there to relieve her, she'll simply go around and ask any of the family members that are there at the house if they'd like a drink. Often the women will express a bowlful as a treat for her husband, and a lot of times they'll just leave some in the fridge for anyone who wants to help themselves. The value of breast milk is so highly valued that it's not something that they use only for babies. Breast milk is commonly used as medicine. It's given to the elderly as a cure all, and it's used to treat eye infections. So, their whole outlook on breast milk as a culture is what I would desperately wish that our country would become. But I don't see that anytime in the near future, at least not in my lifetime. I mean, we just have moms who can't even sit in the park and breastfeed their kids. And these women in Mongolia, they do it everywhere. If you're a college student with a child, you sit in your college class and nurse your child. So, it's just so different, these two cultures. Now, I read a lot of articles that say drinking breast milk isn't good for adults, but no one says why, except for that one guy who said there's too much lactose and adults can't digest it. So, what I really want out there in the world is somebody to show me the science that shows that adults should not be drinking breast milk. Show me that science, which, by the way, is going to be my new slogan. I'm going to starting every podcast with, "Hey, this is Michaela. Show me the science," because that's what I really want to see. And there just isn't any. And if there is, it's impossible to find. All right. So I read another article that said many experts always say that breast milk is specially designed for babies and not adults. Well, now this is true. There is a lot in breast milk for brain growth, good gut health, and tons of other stuff that's, meant for infants. But the article goes on to say, though breast milk may contain some natural properties that are great for adults, the special and unique ability of breast milk is not going to be applicable for adults. Well, I again, show me the science. Our brains are grown, so we're not developing brain growth. That's, absolutely true. And I'm going to get into some of that other stuff here in a minute. But, I'm just back at the show me the science that shows that my body and my breast know the difference between an infant, an adult, and my dog. Because if you can show me the science that says my body knows the difference between those three mouths and will not produce anything that's any good for anything but an infant, then I'll believe you. But there is no such science because my body does not know the difference. There's just, that's just it. Your body doesn't know the difference. So let's talk about a couple of scientific facts about breast milk. Hippocrates, known as the father of modern medicine, once said, "Let food be your medicine." I would say let's amend that statement slightly and say, "Let breast milk be your medicine." There are several curative properties of breast milk. One is diarrheal diseases. The low mineral content of breast milk enables inflamed intestines to absorb the water in breast milk very efficiently. And I know this for a fact because over the last few months, I think it's been 2 months, maybe longer, I've been having a lot of tummy troubles, and my intestines have been very angry with me. And so once a day, I drink a glass of breast milk, and it really helps to soothe my intestines. The last time I was at the doctor, he said that my intestines look a lot better than they did 2 weeks ago. I'm just saying. All right, moving on. Human milk contains anti inflammatory substances and immune factors that help heal intestines rather than irritate them. Science tells us that there are 1 million white blood cells in a single drop of breast milk. Okay, there's some science. 1 million white blood cells that's being transferred from your body to your partner's body. That's a lot of white blood cells. Breast milk has been observed to heal superficial infections such as eye infections. I mentioned that earlier. Okay, so let's take this scenario. With a mother and a child, if the infant is exposed to a germ, mother is often exposed to the same germ. When baby contracts a germ, and let's say they're at grandma's house and they get sick, the baby exposes mother to the same germ through suckling. Within about 8 hours, mother's milk is producing antibodies to that germ. Now, knowing that your body has no idea your partner is not an infant, I think I would successfully postulate that these amazing things hold true for your partner as well. And if you have a partner that has a sinus infection or a cold or something like that, and you're suckling on a regular basis, then you're going to develop antibodies that you're going to pass back to him or her. And your body is going to try and help fight what's in their body. It's just that's just the way it works. Breast milk contains DHA, an omega 3 fatty acid. And if you're a mom that's had children and you've ever, for whatever reason, had to use formula, no big deal. You go to the store and you get a can of formula. A lot of times you'll see on the cans, it says enhanced DHA, omega 3 fatty acid, or, something along those lines. DHA is essential for brain development during pregnancy and early childhood. But are there benefits to DHA for adults? Why, yes, there is. DHA is naturally produced in small quantities by our bodies, but to have adequate amounts, we take it in through dietary supplements like cold water fish, grass-fed meats, dairy, eggs, and supplements. DHA for adults provides good brain health and helps protect against depression. The list of natural immune strengthening biochemicals in breast milk is absolutely amazing. Breast milk also produces, and this is a really big word, you guys forgive me because I'm going to try really hard to say it. It's gamma amino butyric acid, or GABA, GABA, which is a natural mood mellower. And if you have kids or had kids and you breastfed them, you've seen this in action. Sometimes after nursing, a baby will seem almost like tranquilized, just comatose. A friend of mine calls that drunk on boob juice. And that's really what it looks like. So, GABA is an anti epileptic and a natural relaxation agent. It is produced in the brain, and it is one of the most important regulators of neurotransmissions and essential functions of the body. Drugs like Valium, baclofen, and Neurontin work by increasing GABA production in the brain. And look, here we have it, this magical medicine in breast milk. And once again, you cannot tell me that my body knows the difference, because I know when I've had sessions with my partner and, in 20, 30, 40 minutes, and There are many times he's out cold, just rolls right over, and that's it. He's done. And, I pretty sure this is why. So I've talked about some of the ways breast milk is good for the body, and there are many others. I've only just touched on a few. But let's talk about how suckling can help the provider of the milk, because there's a few. Making milk uses fat stores. So, along with a well balanced diet, you could see some weight loss. There's also hormonal health. The hormones released by suckling, which are prolactin and oxytocin, influence overall balance of many of your other hormones and keep estrogen levels low, which may affect the development of certain cancers. And I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. Relaxation. Not only does suckling affect a woman's body, but it helps calm their mind. And, if you're feeling stressed, nervous, or uptight, any of that stuff, you had a fucked day at work, or the paper boy threw the paper on the roof. I don't know. Do they even deliver the paper anymore? Anyway, you get my point. It's just been a crap day. If you have the chance to suckle a partner, then that helps bring a sense of contentment. And you may even drift off to sleep. I know I have. Prolactin is known to be a stress fighting hormone. So I don't know, maybe that's why. I know that, when my prolactin levels are high, um, and I'm in the middle of a session, there's been a couple of times when I've just dozed right off and my partner wakes me up. He's like, "You fell asleep." And I'm like, What the fuck you wake me up for? Anyway, there's a good bit of relaxation that comes along with it. Now let's talk about cancer, because suckling reduces the risk of breast, ovarian, and uterine cancer. Suckling reduces the risk of these cancers by almost 25%, according to Dr. William Sears. He's the author of the Healthy Pregnancy book, the Baby book, and the Breastfeeding book. Cancer lowering effects of breastfeeding are thought to be the result of lower estrogen levels. The less estrogen available to promote growth of the cells lining the breast, the uterus, and the ovaries, the less risk there is of these tissues becoming cancerous. If for no other reason, that right there is a great reason. And once again, it doesn't matter if you're suckling a partner or a baby. If there's suckling going on, it's protecting you from cancer. You're also less likely to have osteoporosis later on in life. So, those are just a couple of things that benefit the provider of the milk. There's one last thing I want to talk about. Maybe you've heard that bodybuilders like to drink breast milk, and maybe you've heard that there's no science behind that. So, let's check the science, because breast milk has a much higher whey to casein ratio and is easier to digest. Now, bodybuilders, when they do their protein drinks and stuff and they're bulking up, whey is what they're drinking. So, to have something that has a higher whey to casein ratio and easier to digest is going to be something that they're going to want above cow's milk, or even something synthetic, because most protein powders are synthetic. And research shows that the amino acid taurine is present in much larger amounts in breast milk than in cow's milk. So, breast milk protein is almost completely absorbed. So, there's less waste and is easier on the digestive system. The excessive protein in cow's milk creates extra work for the intestines, the kidneys, and creates a phenomenon known as metabolic overload. All right. So, ah, that's a lot of information. There's no real science to say breast milk helps adults. There isn't. But there isn't any to say it doesn't either. There are a lot of benefits to suckling breast milk, and there's a lot of benefits to having a partner. Will breast milk help your partner cure their diseases? I don't know. I can't say for sure because I'm not a scientist, but I can say this logically, your body will produce what it can to fight what it can. So if your partner has something going on and, that can transmit through your ducts to your body and your body recognizes it, your body will react in a way to produce something to fight it. Am I saying that breast milk cures cancer in someone else? No, because if it did, it would be a miracle cure and we wouldn't have all these beautiful children that have so many issues that are in the hospital. So, no, I'm not saying that. But I am saying if your partner has, some digestive issues going on or a sinus infection or something like that, there's a good chance that your breast milk can help fight that for him. That's all I'm saying. And as long as you're enjoying yourself, then keep doing what you do and do not let anybody shame you or tell you that you shouldn't be doing it. One last thing that I'm going to leave you with, and I thought this was pretty funny. A study conducted by the University of North Carolina School of Medicine found that when mice were given whole breast milk from an HIV negative woman, the virus was unable to be transmitted, leading researchers to believe breast milk can completely block oral transmission of the disease. So there's some science, sort of. Breast milk may protect against the oral transmission of HIV. The article goes on to say that there's no science to suggest that breast milk offers benefits to adults. So, based on the test above, only babies and mice would be protected against oral transmission of HIV. Do you see how ridiculous this is? The truth is, there's no real science on how breast milk affects adults. You just keep doing, like I said, what you're doing. Use common sense and know that your boobs have no way of knowing the difference between, an infant mouth and an adult mouth. They don't know. They can't know. So don't even worry about it. Just take care of your partner and keep doing what you do. All right. I'm Michaela. Don't forget to go by the website, lactationstation2020.com. Check out the Facebook group, Lactation Station 2020. You can hit me up on Instagram and check out what I'm doing there. It's Lactation Station. And please go by A&R Heaven. Join up. Who knows who you'll meet there? If you're looking for a partner, maybe they're waiting for you. All right. This is Michaela. Have a great night.